Your Denver Broncos just made a very, very interesting cut. We get great news that shows that there is a tremendous amount of trust across our entire organization. We finally get rookie numbers. We get schedule leaks about who the Broncos are playing in the international game. And a former Denver Broncos starter who was very loved in Denver is cut and a free agent out there. Should we go get him? That and way more in this video. If you're new to the channel, I'm a diehard Denver Broncos fan named Ben, and it helps me in the YouTube algorithm out a ton. If you like the Broncos, if you would like and subscribe. So the day we have all been waiting for, rookie minicamp, has officially launched, and I am wildly hyped. So we are seeing the first images kind of leak out here. One of the things under Sean Payton that has been a major bummer that we don't have is, like, we don't have all the hype videos. I'm watching the Raiders put out a hype video. You're just seeing them all over the place, and it's like, man, we get a couple images, and that's going to have to get us all the way through until the preseason. But we know Sean Payton, when he came into Denver, that was one of the first things he put the kibosh on, and he's like, hey, we don't celebrate until we've done something, and we are going to be moving more like we are moving in silence. We don't need to announce everything on Facebook and social media. And so you are seeing a couple images come out, and it gets you crazy excited, and you're starting to see what some of our new starters look like in their new uniforms. So right off the bat, our first round pick, Jahdae Barron, rocking number 12, the same number as the cornerback picked above him, and Travis Hunter, also the same number as Shedeur Sanders. I think he looks pretty sick in that. We'll talk more about that number. Now we see Harvey, who a lot of us are expecting to eclipse the 1,000-yard running back rushing mark next year, is rocking number 37. This is a number I would not jump out and go buy. You remember Audric Estime was wearing a totally different number. He also was wearing 37 for a while, and now we know he's settled in on number 23. So after we make cuts and we get down to our 53, then you can actually buy a jersey, because I do not think RJ Harvey ends up with the number 37. He wore 7 at UCF, and so maybe like he likes just adapting to that and putting a 3 in front of it. But 37, it does not look that cool. Seeing some of our new edge rushers here, obviously wildly hyped for what's to come, and just seeing all these rookies hanging on Sean Payton's every word. Sean Payton has really made this team in his image, and it is ready to crush all of our expectations next year, and I'm really excited about it. So let's talk real quick about the jersey numbers that came in and my initial reactions to it. I love Barron rocking number 12. I love Pat Bryant rocking number 13. How many times did we hear Sean Payton say, hey, he is the next Michael Thomas, and this is the number he wore both in Illinois, and also it's the number that Michael Thomas wore. So I love that that's the number he had. I think that's the number you can go out and buy a jersey. If you're excited about a Bryant jersey, go get it, because I think that's the number he's going to settle on. Obviously, Savion Jones rocking 95, and then we got Quay Robinson 51. Our new punter rocking number 39, and then the future Jimmy Graham, our basketball player that nobody knew, but then we found out yesterday 5 teams also wanted him. Caleb Lohner rocking number 84, which is also the number he wore at Utah. Also happens to be the number that Shannon Sharpe wore, so 84 looks pretty good on a tight end in Denver, and he's going to hopefully be calling the National Guard in on the Patriots, because the Denver Broncos are going to be destroying them. So let me know in the comments, which of these jerseys would you be most excited to buy? To me, I think I would love I have a blue Bo Nix jersey and a white Bo Nix jersey. I would like a Barron jersey, and I'll hold off and get a Harvey jersey once we have his official number. So the massive cut that the Broncos made, which is really interesting to me, is a lot of folks were saying that the Broncos reached on getting a punter in the 6th round, and they're like, you could have got him as a free agent. You have a punting competition. You don't even know if he's the dude. Well, Sean Payton just signaled that he is the dude, because there's no longer a punting competition in Denver, as the Broncos just released their punter, Matthew Hack. Now, Hack, none of us were excited about what he had to offer. We watched videos of him, and his average was very abysmal in the NFL. And so some folks are saying, like, oh, look at Crenshaw had basically the same average as Matt Hack did, but in college football, and they kind of dogged on that. But I think the important thing to think of is that in college football, take a look at where, like, college football yardage is just a lot easier to get. And so when you very rarely are punting from your own 20-yard line, you're usually getting some yardage. So you don't have all the field that they have in the NFL. And so it's doing a lot more directional kicks like this, like we're seeing here in this highlight reel. And Sean Payton feels fantastic. He's got a cannon for a leg, and while he only averaged 46 yards a punt in Florida, how many of that was Coffin cornering it and on a shorter field than he'll have in the NFL? And so in the rare case that Bo Nix goes 3 and out on a drive, I think Matt Hack has the leg and the hang time to get it down there. And don't just look at his yardage average in college and say that's going to be the same. We've shown this video here before, but I mean, this dude has a 5-second hang time, which is just wild to think about. What is that going to look like? Not in humidity, like in Florida, but you put that at altitude, and then you put the Broncos defense, once he pins them wherever he wants them, it's going to be absolutely wild. And knowing the fact that we have the best special teams coach in the entire NFL, Rizzi, telling him what to do and coaching him up. And I think this is a fantastic sign that we made that cut, and it's really good. Now, also, fantastic news here that Sean Payton has flipped the culture here and that everyone is believing. And we have absolute receipts for that claim, that this wouldn't have happened several years ago. So we have several players today who are practicing at rookie minicamp who have not yet inked a deal with the Denver Broncos. One of them is Jahdae Barron. So he has no guarantees from the Broncos. If he goes out there and Nathaniel Hackett pulls on a snow cone truck because that's what he does during practices, and it crushes his ACL, like he's in trouble, right? But he signed an injury settlement agreement with the team saying, hey, I trust you guys will make it work. I'm going to come out there and put my best foot forward. It's a good faith move, and it's a sign that he trusts what the Broncos are doing. And people are like, oh, that happens all the time. Well, it happens somewhat frequently, but I love the fact that there are multiple instances across the NFL today where rookies are not doing that, including a first-round pick here, Shamar Stewart with the Cincinnati Bengals. We know they have a lackluster defense, and that's putting it very, very mildly. Their defense is a turnstile, and they were counting on him making a big difference, and you can't afford to be missing out on preseason activities, and they need him to hit the ground and be a competitor and an addition right away. And I love the fact, I don't wish ill on any other team. That's not true. But it's more than that. It's that, hey, look at how positively this reflects on your Denver Broncos, that Jahdae Barron trusts us enough to be like, hey, I know you'll do what's right. Get a ton of news today about some schedule leaks, and these are fairly cross-sourced, and obviously we could find out something different next week, but these are kind of locked in. The thing is, all of us had this game here in week number 10 circled, that the Broncos are playing the Colts, and we all were excited about the first ever game in Germany. Sean Payton openly expressed a desire to go to Germany and play this game. And it would have been cool to take away the Colts home field advantage. That's an AFC opponent that we might be competing with a playoff spot for. Well, they actually turned us down, saying they did not want to take away the home field advantage. To me, that's the ultimate sign that they're scared of us. They're like, hey, we need every advantage we can get. We don't want to lose to an AFC opponent on a neutral field. We want to play them at home. This is great news for me because I'm 4 hours from Indy, and I'll be at the Indianapolis game now because the Colts are dodging us and they are scared, and that is a great thing. Again, that wouldn't have happened 2 years ago. 2 years ago, teams are running to the NFL saying, please, can we play the Broncos? Please, can we play the Broncos? And now they are ducking us and for good measure. But you do not have to fear, because the Broncos want an international game. Sean Payton wants this team to feel like a college team. That's why he manufactured a college-like road trip last year. An amazing podcast with Zach Allen talking about how fun that road trip was. They thought there were ghosts in the hotel, and it felt like a college-type environment. Amazing. Sean Payton wants that, and nothing would be better than all of your best friends hopping on an airline and going over to an international game. And so it looks like the Broncos are going to have that. They've requested the international game. We will not have to play in New York because that game that's a home game for the Jets is actually going to be in London. Now, the downside to this is that the Broncos will get their bye week the week after the game in London, most likely, unless it's one of our other East Coast games. I don't love having a week 7 bye. I thought last year's bye was the absolute perfect place to have it, a week 14 bye, because then you are so rested and ready for the NFL playoffs. I'm happy that it's not a week 4 bye like the Chargers had or something last year, but week 7's a little earlier than I want, and maybe this isn't true, but that's kind of how it's shaping up to be here. So let me know in the comments how you're feeling about all that. Now, the last little bit here on jersey numbers, I do actually kind of dig Jahdae Barron rocking number 12, because now our backfield, which is truly going to be no-fly zone 2.0, is it going to be the restricted airspace? When we did the live stream and we drafted him, had some incredible names, and I'm working on some shirts for it now. But I love the fact that you're not going to be able to throw on these dudes, because you're going to have Nick Bonito and Zach Allen and JFM and Quay Robinson, and you're going to be bearing down on them. And I love the fact that all of their numbers are some sort of 2, we got 2, 1, 1, 2, and just 2. And I think this is a perfect setup here for next year. Last piece of news here we got to get into. Lil Jordan Humphreys, a lot of folks were in love with him. He played on 50% of the Denver Broncos snaps last year, and actually had some pretty incredible production here. Just even seeing, this is that one game against the Chargers. You just see his ability after the run. One of my favorite plays was back in when Stidham came in for Russell Wilson at the end of 2 seasons ago, and just he showed an incredible amount of heart here and got into the end zone when he made like 20 dudes miss. And we know that Sean Payton loves him because he blocks and he can run routes, and he played on 50% of snaps. So it was huge that the Broncos lost him, and he went to New York because they gave him more money. Well, he has now been cut by the New York Giants and is a free agent. So how would you feel about getting Lil Jordan Humphreys back, knowing we don't have to pay him what the New York Giants were? We could get him on a much more team-friendly deal. As we were talking yesterday about Gabe Davis, and we still got Keenan Allen out there. We still got Amari Cooper out there. I would love to see the Broncos add one more wide receiver here. I feel great about who we have, but Lil Jordan Humphreys coming back home just makes way too much sense. So let me know in the comments how you'd feel about that. And Broncos country, sorry I was late. Oncologist appointment for my wife. We'll do an update on that. I'm already way over 10 minutes, but Broncos country, we got a ton to Bo-LIEVE. And this one's for the Nuggets. Oh!